I can't keep doing this anymore. He's been such a good husband. That's what makes this so hard. He deserves someone who actually wants to be with him. Those words came through my phone at 11:47 p.m. on a Thursday, and they destroyed me. I'm Felix Sanai, and I'd been working late in my home office when my wife Samila's FaceTime call lit up my screen. I answered with a smile, expecting to see her face from whatever hotel she was staying at during her monthly girls' trip. Instead, I saw darkness, heard muffled sounds, then her voice, crystal clear, talking to someone else. She didn't know the call had connected. I should have hung up, should have given her privacy, but my hands froze on the phone, and my heart hammered against my ribs so hard I thought it might break through. 6 years of marriage, and I thought I knew this woman. Thought we were solid. My first wife left me for my best friend 8 years ago. Told me I was too boring, too safe, too predictable. That betrayal nearly killed me. Samila was supposed to be different. She called me her safe harbor. She rebuilt me. Now here I was again, listening to my world end through a phone speaker. Please, before I continue, kindly like, share, and subscribe for more interesting stories. A female voice responded to Samila. Then tonight's the night. You tell him when you get back, or I will. I recognized that voice. Jasmine Rodriguez, Samila's best friend since nursing school, the woman who'd been at our wedding, who came to our house for dinners, who looked me in the eye and smiled like everything was fine. Samila's voice trembled. I know, God, Jasmine, how do I even start that conversation? My throat closed. I wanted to scream into the phone, to demand answers, but I stayed silent. Frozen, listening. Does he know about the apartment? Another voice asked. I didn't recognize this one. No, Samila said quietly, and he can never find out. Apartment? What apartment? We lived together. We shared everything. Or so I thought. My mind raced back to 3 years ago, right after our 3rd anniversary. That's when the girls' trips started. Once a month, like clockwork. Samila would pack a small bag, kiss me goodbye, and disappear for a weekend. She'd return exhausted, distant. I'd ask about her trip, and she'd give vague answers about spa days and wine nights. I'd ignored the gut feeling that something was off. After my first marriage, I'd promised myself I'd never be the suspicious, controlling husband. That promise now felt like the stupidest thing I'd ever done. Jasmine's voice came through again. How long has it been going on? Samila sighed, and I heard the exhaustion in it. Since our 3rd anniversary. Almost 3 years now. 3 years. My calculator brain did the math automatically. That was when everything changed, when she started the monthly trips, when she began working extra shifts at the hospital, when our intimacy became mechanical, like she was somewhere else even when she was in my arms. I remembered our 3rd anniversary clearly. We'd gone to that Italian restaurant downtown, the one where we had our first date. Samila had been quiet all night, picking at her pasta. I'd asked if something was wrong. She'd smiled that smile that didn't reach her eyes and said, Just tired from work, baby. You know how it is. I'd believed her, because I wanted to, because trusting her was easier than facing the possibility that I'd chosen wrong again. The money's been adding up, Samila continued. Another few months and I'll have enough to disappear completely. Disappear? My chest felt like someone had reached in and squeezed my heart. She wasn't just leaving me, she was planning to vanish, to erase herself from my life like I'd never mattered. The call went silent for a moment. Then Samila spoke again, her voice breaking. I just wish there was another way. I wish I could have been honest from the beginning, but it's too late now. The line went dead. I sat in darkness, unable to move, unable to breathe. 20 minutes passed before I could think clearly. The pain transformed into something cold and sharp. If Samila was planning to disappear, she'd left clues. People always did. I opened my laptop with shaking hands and logged into our joint bank account. The screen glowed in the dark office, illuminating years of transactions I'd never questioned. I searched for anything labeled girls' trip. There, monthly withdrawals. $800, sometimes $1,200, every single month for 3 years. I calculated quickly. Roughly $35,000, gone. But it was the irregular withdrawals that made my blood run cold. One from 18 months ago. Storage unit, annual renewal, $500. We didn't have a storage unit. I clicked deeper into the transaction history, found the company name, Secure Space Storage, Unit 237. The address was across town, near the industrial district, a place I'd never been, never had reason to go. My phone buzzed. A text from Samila. Landing tomorrow at 3 p.m. Miss you so much. Can't wait to see you. I stared at those words. The heart emoji. Miss you so much. All lies. Pretty, carefully constructed lies sent while she planned her escape. I remembered when we first met at that hospital charity gala 6 years ago. She'd been wearing a blue dress, laughing with other nurses. I just finalized my divorce, was barely holding myself together. She'd walked up to me, handed me a glass of champagne, and said, "You look like you need someone to talk to." At 2 in the morning, I drove to the storage facility. The streets were empty, my headlights cutting through darkness. My hands gripped the steering wheel so tight my knuckles turned white. The facility was a maze of orange metal units. Unit 237 was in the back corner. I stood in front of the keypad, heart pounding. Tried Samila's birthday, 0817. The lock clicked open. Inside, my world exploded. Designer clothes still had tags attached. Expensive luggage stacked in the corner. A laptop, 3 burner phones, stacks of cash and envelopes rubber-banded by month. On the wall, a map with 7 cities circled in red: Seattle, Denver, Portland, Austin, Nashville, Charleston, Savannah. Escape routes. She'd been planning multiple destinations. And a folder, thick manila folder labeled New Identity Documents, in progress. My hands trembled as I opened it. Application forms for a legal name change. Documents for a new social security number. Contact information for lawyers who specialized in identity protection. Identity protection from what? I sat on the concrete floor, surrounded by my wife's secret life. This wasn't about another man. This was something bigger, something darker. The laptop sat in front of me, password protected. I tried our anniversary. Wrong. Her birthday. Wrong. My birthday. Wrong. Then, barely breathing, I typed, "Sorry, sweetheart Felix." The screen unlocked. My wife had apologized to me in her password. She knew this would hurt me. She knew, and she'd done it anyway. The laptop opened to an email account I'd never seen before. Hundreds of messages. I clicked the first thread, hands shaking so badly I could barely control the mouse. Messages to lawyers, private investigators, women's crisis centers, domestic violence hotlines. Domestic violence? I scrolled frantically, trying to understand. Then I found it. An email thread from 4 months ago. I need to know if there's any way he can find me after I leave. He's not violent now, but my first husband wasn't either, until he was. I can't take that risk again. First husband? The words punched through me like bullets. Samila told me she'd never been married before. She'd told me I was her first everything, her first real love, first marriage, first person she'd ever trusted completely. Another email, this one to a private investigator. Subject name: Derek Walsh. I need to know his current location, employment status, and whether he's still looking for me. It's been 7 years since I disappeared. I thought I was safe. Then I saw him 2 weeks ago. Derek Walsh. The name meant nothing to me, but clearly it meant everything to Samila. I kept reading, my horror growing with each message. She'd been married at 22. He'd isolated her, controlled her, hurt her. When she tried to leave, he'd found her, every single time, until she faked her death. My wife faked her death to escape her first husband, changed her name, rebuilt her entire life, and never told me any of it. I drove straight to Jasmine's house. It was 4 in the morning, but I didn't care. I pounded on her door until lights flicked on inside. Jasmine opened the door in a robe, her face going completely white when she saw me. "Felix, you're not supposed to know yet." "Know what?" I demanded, my voice breaking. "That my wife's been lying to me for 3 years? That she's planning to disappear? That she was married before?" Jasmine's eyes filled with tears. "Oh God, she told you about Derek?" "She didn't tell me anything. I found out myself." I pushed past her into the living room. You're going to tell me everything, right now. Jasmine sat down heavily on her couch, her hands shaking. Samila's going to kill me. Samila's planning to vanish from my life without explanation. I think we're past worrying about what she wants. Jasmine nodded slowly, tears streaming down her face. His name is Derek Walsh. Samila was married to him 7 years ago. God, Felix, he almost killed her. Multiple times. She finally escaped by faking her death. A business partner helped her. She changed everything. Her name, her appearance, her entire life. And she never thought to mention this to her current husband? She was terrified, Jasmine whispered. The trauma was too deep. She thought if she never spoke about it, maybe it would stop being real. Then what changed? I asked. Why is she running now? Jasmine's face crumpled. Because Derek found her, 2 weeks ago. I drove home as the sun rose, my mind spinning with everything Jasmine had told me. Derek had left a note on Samila's car, threatening her, threatening me. He'd been watching us, taking photos. He knew where we lived, where I worked, every detail of our life. Samila hadn't been planning to leave me. She'd been planning to save me. I pulled into my driveway and stopped. A black Mercedes sat parked on the street. I didn't recognize it, and my front door, it was slightly open. My blood turned to ice. I called 911, whispering as I approached the house. The dispatcher stayed on the line, telling me to wait for police. But through my living room window, I could see him. A man in an expensive suit, tall and confident, standing in my house like he owned it. He was looking at our wedding photos on the mantel, picking them up one by one. He lifted the photo of Samila in her wedding dress, the one where she's laughing at something I'd said. The sunlight had caught her perfectly, made her glow. The man brought the photo close to his face and whispered something I could barely hear through the window. There you are, sweetheart. I've missed you so much. Derek Walsh was in my home. Sirens wailed in the distance. The man didn't move. He set the photo down carefully, straightened his tie, and turned toward the door with a smile. He'd been waiting for the police to arrive. This was planned. 2 squad cars screeched to a stop. Officers rushed toward the house, hands on their weapons. Derek walked out calmly, hands visible, that smile never leaving his face. "Officers," he said smoothly. "Thank goodness you're here. I'm Derek Walsh, medical consultant. I was hoping to surprise an old friend, but it seems the door was unlocked. I was worried something might be wrong." "He broke into my house," I said, stepping forward. "He's stalking my wife." Derek turned to me, his eyes cold despite the smile. "Your wife?" "I'm sorry. I think there's been a misunderstanding. I'm an old friend of Samila Bennett's. We used to be married, actually, before she tragically passed away 7 years ago." The officers looked confused. One of them turned to me. "Sir, can you clarify?" "My wife's name is Samila Sanai," I said. "She has a restraining order against this man." Derek laughed softly. "Actually, she doesn't. Because officially, Samila Bennett died in a car accident in 2018. The woman you married is living under a false identity." My stomach dropped. Derek pulled out his phone, showing the officers something on his screen. "I have the death certificate right here. You can verify it in your databases. Samila Bennett, deceased April 14th, 2018. The woman this man married committed identity fraud." One officer took Derek's phone, comparing it to something on his tablet. His expression changed. Derek looked at me with mock sympathy. "I'm not here to cause trouble. I'm here to help resolve a legal matter. Identity fraud is a serious crime." 3 hours later, I waited at the airport with 2 police officers. Samila's flight had just landed. I watched passengers stream through the arrival gate, searching for her face. Then I saw her. She was pulling her small suitcase, wearing jeans and a sweater, her hair pulled back. She looked tired, but beautiful. When she spotted me with the officers, she stopped walking. All color drained from her face. "No," she whispered. The suitcase fell from her hand. "No, no, no, he found us." I ran to her, catching her as her knees buckled. "I know everything," I said, holding her tight. "I heard the phone call. I found the storage unit. I know about Derek." Samila collapsed into my arms, sobbing so hard her whole body shook. "I'm so sorry. I was trying to protect you. I thought if I disappeared, he'd follow me and leave you alone. I couldn't let him destroy you like he destroyed me." The police officer stepped forward. "Mrs. Sanai, we need to discuss your legal name change documentation. Mr. Walsh has filed a report claiming identity fraud. There are irregularities that require immediate attention." Samila looked up at me, terror in her eyes. "He's using the law against me. That's his new tactic. He's smarter now." "We'll fight this," I said. But even as I said it, I could see Derek's trap closing around us. He'd evolved from physical violence to psychological warfare, using the system itself as his weapon. At the police station, Derek's lawyer laid out the case with cold precision. Identity fraud, falsified documents, social security fraud. Each charge carried prison time. Derek sat across from us, that same calm smile on his face. He wasn't even looking at Samila. He was looking at me, enjoying my helplessness. Then my phone rang. Unknown number. I almost didn't answer. "Mr. Sanai, this is Raymond Torres. I'm the person who helped Samila 7 years ago. Jasmine called me this morning. I'm on my way." 2 hours later, Raymond walked into the station with a lawyer and a briefcase. He was in his 50s, gray hair, kind eyes that had seen too much pain. "My name is Raymond Torres," he announced. "I'm here to testify on behalf of Samila Sanai, formerly Samila Bennett." Derek's smile faltered slightly. Raymond's lawyer opened the briefcase. Inside were years of documentation, photos of Samila's injuries, medical records, witness statements, police reports that had gone nowhere, and Derek's messages, threatening texts Raymond had secretly copied before helping Samila escape. "My client helped Ms. Bennett fake her death to escape attempted murder," the lawyer said. "We have documented evidence of 3 separate occasions where Derek Walsh tried to kill her. The identity change was an act of survival, not fraud. We're prepared to petition for legal protection under the Domestic Violence Exemption Statute." Derek's face went from smug to panicked. "This is ridiculous. Those documents are fabricated." "They're time-stamped and notarized," Raymond's lawyer interrupted. "We also have financial records showing Mr. Walsh spent over $200,000 hiring private investigators to hunt down a woman he believed was dead. That demonstrates clear obsessive behavior and intent to harm." 6 months later, Samila and I sat in our living room with a letter from Raymond. Derek was in prison, serving 5 years for stalking, harassment, and financial fraud Raymond's investigation had uncovered. Samila's identity had been legally protected under special domestic violence provisions. We'd survived. Barely, but we had. "Raymond wants to meet," Samila said softly, holding the letter. "After 7 years. Are you sure you want to do this? Meeting him means reopening everything." I looked at my wife, really looked at her. She was different now, lighter. Like a weight had been lifted that she'd carried for so long she'd forgotten what freedom felt like. "He gave you your life back," I said. "The least we can do is say thank you." As we drove to meet Raymond at a small cafe downtown, Samila's phone buzzed. Unknown number. A text message loaded on the screen. "You thought destroying my life would end this? I have friends. They'll find you when I can't." I saw the message, saw Samila's hands start to shake, watched the old fear creep back into her eyes. Then I took her phone, deleted the message, and squeezed her hand. "Let them try," I said. "We're ready now." Because here's what I learned through all of this. Love isn't about perfect honesty from the beginning. It's not about never having scars. It's about standing together when the past comes back to destroy you. Samila had fought for us alone, terrified, making impossible choices. Now it was my turn to fight with her. Together, we'd face whatever came next.